again, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple bread product. So this dough can be used to make loads of different types of bread. You can use it to make bread sticks, bread rolls, focaccia, baguettes, garlic bread. So it's a really good one to use as a base for bread in your food exams. I'm going to show you how to knead it as well, and I'm going to show you two different ways to get it ready before it is proved. So the first things first is your flour. So always use strong flour to make bread, unless you were in the COVID-19 crisis and you couldn't get strong flour, then you could make it with plain flour. But strong flour makes it much better. So the first thing you're going to do is put your strong flour into your mixing bowl, weighed out already, and then you're going to add your yeast. So you can get it ready weighed in packets, or you can get it in little pots, or you can get it fresh from your local supermarket as well, or a baker's. And there's loads of different types of yeast. I'm going to use fast active yeast. All I'm going to do is put that on the top, and then I'm just going to make sure that's all rubbed in, because next I'm going to add my water and salt. And if I was to put the salt straight onto the yeast, it would kill off the yeast. So I want to make sure that's mixed in. I'm then going to add my water. With your water, you need to weigh it. Don't put it in a jug because it's not as reliable, so I want you to weigh it. So you can weigh it in grams or millilitres. It needs to be warm, not hot or cold. So it needs to be like a nice tepid bath. And this will help activate the yeast and let it grow and rise. So in here, I'm going to weigh my water. I'm just going to make a well in the middle, so it's easier to combine. I'm then going to add my salt. So once you've added your water and your salt to your yeast and flour mixture, you then just want to mix it. The reason why you'll weigh the water on the scales is to make it exact. If you have, say, even 20 mils more than you need, it's going to make your dough too hard to work with, and also it won't make as good final product. So I'm just going to mix it before I get my hands in there. You can use a palette knife or a spoon, up to you. So just to combine it. Once it started to come into a dough, you're then going to get it out on the table. Now, if you were doing this in a food exam, you can use a KitchenAid and put it all in your KitchenAid the same and mix it with a dough hook. Or you can knead it. So I'm going to show you to start it off kneading. Put your bowl straight in the sink to soak so the flour doesn't dry on harder, making it harder to wash. So once you've got your flour all together, you're just going to start squishing it so it starts coming together. Don't put any flour on the table, even though you'll be tempted, because it will change the consistency of your dough. And your dough wants to be a little bit wet and rather than dry. So once you put it on the table, you're then going to, once it's all together, you're then going to roll it to knead it. So you're going to pull it, this is to stretch the fibres. So you're just going to pull it backwards and forth, and you're folding it over. So can you see how I'm folding it and bringing it back onto itself? And you'll do this for 10 minutes to do it by hand. I'm also going to show you how to do it in the KitchenAid. Okay, so another way to knead your dough is to use a KitchenAid even. So you could put your flour in and your yeast, mix it, and then gradually add your water and mix it. For these, you use a dough hook. So it's literally a hook, like Captain Hook's hook. And then you're going to put your dough in, and this will do the hard work for you. So this is good in a food exam, as it will show another skill, and it will also save you a lot of time. So you can set this off and go do something. It'll take about 5 minutes to do. And you just put it on high speed, and it does the kneading for you. Okay, so once that's been in the KitchenAid for about 5 to 8 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, that should have made you a nice smooth dough. So, as you can see here, it's gone really nice and smooth, and it's not as fluffy, and it's easier to handle. If it's not smooth, just keep it going. If you've been kneading it as well, it should be easier to get off the surface after you've kneaded it for a long time. And then you're going to put it back into your clean bowl to prove. So if you were to add flavours, you could add them now, or you could, so if you wanted to add like some garlic butter into it, or some garlic into it, or some herbs, you could do that before you put it in the machine, or you could knead it into now and then leave it to prove. I'm going to leave this to prove, so I'm going to put a tea towel over it and leave it in a warm place for 1 hour to prove. So once your dough has proved, you can see it's doubled inside. What you're going to do next is you can either knock it back to make your next product, depending what you're making. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of doing it. Or you can work straight from it from here, depends what your time is like. But in your exam, you would, after it's risen and proven like this means the yeast is activated, you'd then make it into whatever shape you want to, or into garlic bread, or add your flavourings, up to you. So you're going to need a bit of flour on your table, like this. Soak your bowl so it's easier to wash up. And then what you're going to do is you're either going to shape it or you're going to knead it into whatever you want. So if you're making pizza, you can roll it into your pizza shape, or if you're making your bread. So remember, it will rise. So even if you make it into a tiny one, it's going to go much bigger. Okay, and I'm also going to show you how to do a plait. So you need to get your dough and split it into 3 equal sizes. And then you want to make it into 3 long sausages-like shapes. And then all you're going to do is, with your tops, just hold your tops together, like this. This is a good one to do for your exam. You can do little individual ones or a big one, up to you. And then you're just going to plait it. And squeeze your hands, and then you're going to put that to prove as well. So again, you can do this and then just leave it whilst you carry on with your other products. This one, I'm going to flavour. So to add flavour, you can do lots of different things. I'm going to do a couple of different flavours. So here I've got some dried herbs, so I'm just going to put some of that one in that one before I mix it. So that's going to be my rosemary. I'm going to do one with fennel seeds. So you can put any spices you find, paprika, anything you've got really. I'm going to do one with cumin seeds. This is good for naan bread. And I'm going to do one with a mixture of spice, like a Chinese spice, just for experimenting. That was quite a lot. And then just knead them together. With your bread, when you need it to prove, put a bit of flour on your baking tray